Hey, Jamie Stenhouse here, back in Adelaide, and I want to share maybe the most important metric that us entrepreneurs should be tracking, regardless of what industry it is, regardless of what product we have. There's one metric that we have to keep driving every single day that will pretty much solve any problem we come up against in either our clients or in our delivery or in trying to grow our team. Pretty much, this is the number one metric that solves all problems if you track it and if you grow it. And while it's obvious and it's common sense, it's somewhat overlooked by a lot of newer entrepreneurs and even a lot of seasoned entrepreneurs who are more focused on growing the processes and teams. So that's a pretty big setup, right? The most important metric to track in your company or your launch or pretty much anything that you're doing as an entrepreneur, the number one thing that you should track that's going to solve all of your problems now and in the future is one that's very common and that we are consciously aware of, but we might not be tracking it or we might not be growing it. And that is, of course, sales. Track your sales. What are your sales today? What are your sales this week and last week? When you look at the most important thing to track and sort of the duty of a business in any industry is to generate sales. The duty of a business is to turn a profit, is to grow its profit so that it can hire more people on their team so it can serve more clients and more customers as well. So in order to sort of achieve that, the one thing that has to happen every single day are sales. One thing that has to be tracked are sales. See, a lot of entrepreneurs, either new or seasoned, begin to track things like social media engagements, opt-in rates, website hits. Now, those are crucial to track, but they're not the driving force in a company or in a business. Now, depending on your industry and depending on your lead capture process, those things could be the driving factors that do drive your sales. But at the end of it, you need to be making sales. You need to be tracking it. And I challenge you to spend 3 hours, see if you can, try to spend 3 hours per day driving sales, doing tasks that directly impact the sales of your company or your business. It's usually harder than what most people think because we get caught up in the social context of a brand, or we get caught up in delivering client work or in handling our teams, and the actual sales is the most important metric that any entrepreneur should be focusing on. But it's the one that we can't just allow to take care of itself, in the sense that we think if we put out enough content, we think if we write enough blog articles, if we do this interview, if we close this JV, that the sales will come automatically. Now, while that can be true, you need to be actively pursuing it, actively tracking it as a metric, because at the end of the day, almost every problem, 99% of all problems that we face as entrepreneurs, regardless of our industry, and I can say that because I've worked across, I think, 80 or so industries now. I kind of lost count, but I've had clients across 80 different industries, and all problems, I've faced many problems and many challenges from these clients in terms of why they've hired me or hired the agency to help them to grow to the next level or to correct these problems. What happens is, once we begin to generate sales for them, the problems seem to be corrected, right? So sales will solve relatively any problem you are having in your company or in your business. For example, if you have a team that's not performing, then it's a little bit hard to hire them and to train a new team if you don't have the sales there to support that process or to fund the hiring process. If you have cash flow problems, sales helps. If your product isn't doing as well as you thought, then sales will help to not only fund a new product, but also help to, correct that product if you can as well. Whatever problem you're having, if you're tired of your company, if you're drained by doing the everyday PA work, or you're spending too much time with clients rather than growing the company, then having sales will help to hire someone to take that role off of you. So the most important thing that we can be doing as entrepreneurs is obviously tracking our sales, but ensuring that we're actively putting time into it every single day. Now, I challenge everyone to do at least 3 hours of this per day, and let me know how it goes. And 3 hours of the actual hardcore sales work. So This could be social media to a certain degree, but I mean actual, calling up those leads or going out to pitch or speaking at a conference or doing anything that's really sales driven, because most times out of 10, we get caught up in the everyday tasks rather than focusing on what is important as business, and as is of course sales. So whatever problem you're having in your company, in your team, in your product, in your lead funnel, in whatever problem you're having, it can just be conscious that it can be corrected by a certain amount of sales. Sales usually fix everything because you have the capital to either hire someone to fix it, or you can then take off the time because you've got that cash cushion there that allows you to correct it yourself. So focus on sales. Try to do 3 hours of actual sales driving tasks. It would be talking to clients, talking to leads, chasing out referrals, creating new content, building out a new product, whatever it is. Focus on sales for at least 3 hours per day. If you can commit to that, even just twice a week, you'll be far ahead of most other entrepreneurs in the game as well. So remember, the most important thing to track, to grow, to push, and to measure every single day are sales. So with that being said, make today a day all about sales.